Tell your grandma to say hello. It's the Kenny and Cairo Variety Show.
All right, and welcome back to the show. Today we have a special little tier list for you, but maybe a different kind of tier list than most people are used to. Me and ATrueHero, aka Cairo, we're going to be tiering the individual cards in a Blackwing deck. We didn't just get one Blackwing deck. We pulled a bunch of different deck lists together. Prominent decks that have won important tournaments, like Chai T won most recently. What tournament was that?
He didn't win, but he got top 16 at the most recent tournament series, which is the LDS. And that tournament series...
Oh, he's not a winner. We're getting him out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Nah, shout out to Chai T.
Lots of prominent Blackwing players. Chai T, Ludo, of course, Blackwing GOAT. I think he's won more tournaments with Blackwing in Modern Edison history. Also, of course, Yundaime, can't forget him. Shout out to him.
Yep.
And Red Gadget, of course. Red Gadget doing his thing with Blackwings.
Red Gadget, and then for IMNerd, we just had the IMNerd Circuit Series, which was $1,000 cash prize on the line, and GYBU won that with Blackwings. So
that's right.
We got Blackwings out here. So what we thought would be interesting, instead of tiering like a bunch of different decks, taking specific decks and other concepts and tiering the individual cards in them. So today we're going to talk about Blackwings, and not just the singular deck list of Blackwings, but the various cards you'd see across multiple Blackwing decks, talking about them and tiering them on individual level and seeing how we feel about them. I mostly have main deck and side deck cards here. I didn't include extra deck cards. I figured we would just talk about the extra deck cards with the main deck cards that make them. Tried to organize these with the monsters and then spells and traps, I think. So starting off, we have the Blackwing monsters. Starting off, we're going to talk about Big Bora. B for Bora? What do you want to...
All right, so actually, let's talk about Bora a bit. So Bora is better than a lot of players give him credit for. Usually, like when it comes to siding, he's like one of the first ones to go out, like him and Vayu coming up. But Bora, the piercing effect is quite good. And also, I mean, Bora is actually better in like modern formats than he is in Edison format, because like he's just an easy summon and he can like link them off and things like that. Not that everyone's using Blackwings in modern format, but they did recently receive support. But as far as Edison goes, like you definitely need them, but you can definitely cut them. So I say B is fine, right in the middle.
B for Bora. And maybe we'll come back to him. Maybe he goes higher or lower. But for right now, B for Bora. Yeah, I mean, he's 17's a nice stat line, too. Beating over a nice little frog. Just like punching a fucking frog's face in and dealing damage. That's always fun.
Yeah, Sirocco Bora, like the combo is so good. Just you're doing 36, sometimes even more if you have Kalut and things like that.
And then what about this boy right here? You mentioned him alongside him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you draw Vayu by itself, it's terrible. But like, I'm going to evaluate Vayu based on its effect and like how prominent he is in Blackwings. Actually, Vayu is not as good in Blackwings as he is in Vayu Turbo, which is a shame that like your card is used better in another deck. But I know that feeling because I love playing heroes, and other decks always use hero cards better than the hero archetype.
Yeah.
Case in point, Hero Frogs, right?
Yep.
They're using heroes better than like any pure hero variant. And that even applies once again in modern format too. I remember when DPE came out, Dark Phoenix Enforcer, and every deck was teching like Fusion Destiny just so that they can play DPE. And he was better in their decks than he was in heroes. Yep. So anyway, I mean, that's the problem with Vayu. It's like, although it's a really good card, it's better in Vayu Turbo than it is in Blackwings. So I mean, its effect is still great, and it does help the weakness of Blackwings, which are stopping summons. Because in Blackwings, you go bottomless or Trenchel, Trap Hole, whatever. If you stop the summon, Book of Moon, then like they can't do anything. And Vayu's supposed to be like that extender, so it is good, but just not as good as it could be. So I mean, I think B is fine.
B? You're not thinking C?
No. Because just when his effect goes off, like it really does help with the deck. And also, like, usually you pair it with Sirocco and Blackwing, so you can make a level 6, and then like 6s are good because you go into level 8s. There's definitely an argument for C, right? Like I'm not opposed to putting it in C, but just because of how good it is and the fact that a whole deck is named after it, I do think like put some respect on his name.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think it's obviously better in its deck where it like optimizes the things that Vayu does. I think B is good here in Blackwing specifically because, like you said earlier, he does brick. Whereas, like, if you raw draw Bora, he's not necessarily a brick. Usually, if you raw draw Bora, there's something you can do with him. You know, maybe it's not quite the right time, but for the most part, drawing Bora isn't a brick, right? Bora's a playable card. If you raw draw Vayu, it's like, it never feels good. So I feel like that brings his value down a bit, and especially in Blackwings, it hurts to see him there. There's like some more downsides to him than Bora. But if we're using Bora as the baseline for B, but his upsides I think are higher than Bora, right? So like he swings more. So he might have like lower lows, but he has higher highs. When Vayu does what he needs to do for your deck, he does it big. And so I think that's enough to like keep him in B tier right with Bora. Sometimes he feels like a D tier card because you just draw him and you're mad, but sometimes he fucking wins you the game, right? So I think right now leaving him in B makes sense.
Back in the day, last thing I'll say about Vayu. Back in the day when I got third place at RBT with Blackwings, I played a list with triple Vayu, no Greffer. It was crazy.
I wonder, maybe we should include a Greffer and like Armageddon Knight here. I know they're not commonly played in Blackwings, but
right, they're more seen in like hybrid. But yeah, we can talk about them.
But Shura, as for Shura,
see, the thing is, Shura is definitely one of the best Blackwings that you want to see in your opening hands. And like the scariest combo is Whirlwind Shura, for sure. Like 18 is better than 17. He can recruit out Vayu out the deck and make Vayu better because it negates its effect. Also, you can go into like Black Rose because you can get Gale out the deck. Like if you need to press for damage, you can get Collude out the deck. Like Shura is just like, he's so good. But his only like, I guess, downside, though he can recruit other Blackwings, he himself cannot be like recruited to the field easily. Like for example, you can special summon Bora, you can special summon Gale. You can't necessarily special summon Collude. You can Collude at any time, so it's kind of like, it's not a special summon, but you can get the damage output that you needed, right?
Yep.
But sure, it's like you have to normal summon him, and there's no way around that, right? So I mean, I think Shura is great. I think like S is reserved for like top of top, the obvious ones like Dark Arm. I'm giving A, but there's an argument for S, and if people want to say S, then like that's not a hot take at all.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll jump ahead real quick. You mentioned Shura Whirlwind. You want to talk about Whirlwind real quick? Because like I feel like Whirlwind, there's an argument for this card being right here because if you look at the stats for Blackwing wins, usually if Blackwing gets Whirlwind up, they win, right? Like statistically, like if this card hits the field, they win. Like that. Isn't that just like the factual stats?
That is the factual stat. I would be on like Copium to say Whirlwind is anything other than S. It's like, it's so funny because like in the Blackwing like channel, sometimes they talk about, hopefully joking, I don't read it.
Oh, you're about to say something. You're about to say something crazy. You're about to say something.
They talk about lists without Whirlwind.
No.
They talk about lists.
That's the deck. It's literally the deck. Black Whirlwind is the deck. Like it's the whole deck.
It's just, and that's the card that it's just, so Blackwings is a very powerful deck. It's, you know, you can argue top 3, you can say maybe top 5, but like when a Blackwing player opens up Whirlwind, good luck. All right? It's so hard to throw that game.
It's definitely top 3.
So hard to do.
Somebody saying top 5 is crazy. What are the 2 decks better than it for it to be top 5? Anyway,
I mean, it depends how technical you want to be, right? You can say like various frog variants. So there's like Frog OTK, Frogs. Yeah, and it's just like, then at that point, it's just like, okay, sure.
I guess. I kind of view them, I don't know. I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I'm putting in top 3.
Anyway,
Blackwings are Blackwings are doing damage. Like, especially recently, they've kind of made a little bit of a comeback.
Right, the resurgence of Blackwings.
So, yeah, Black Whirlwind. So, what do you, this card's broken. Collude.
Yes.
Where do we got big Collude?
I think that's kind of a hard one to play. Yeah,
I think
Collude's a hard one to play. Because this is the thing. Actually, Collude is the best monster to summon under Whirlwind when your opponent has back rows. Because he's 14, which means he plays under Bottomless. And then like sometimes going like Whirlwind Collude can be better because you can get a Gale and then go into like a Brio and potentially get rid of like the problematic back rows. And then like not only is he just a good normal summon because he dodges Bottomless, but also generally like opponents don't want to waste resources on him. You don't want to waste like your D% on a Kalute. Then you can safely back him up behind an Icarus attack, and it becomes more problematic. And his effect is just good.
Yeah.
His effect is just amazing. And it's like now the opponent always is worried, like, does he have like the Kalute? Like, obviously he's not as good as Honest, but the fact that like he could be used on pretty much the entire engine of your deck just makes him so scary. And you can stack him. Like Honest, like as broken as Honest is, you can't stack Honestes unless you're attacking a monster. But like you can just drop Kalute just because you want to. Like, I just want to make my monster bigger. You just drop the Kalute. So I think honestly, Kalute, like he's S, especially in terms of like just the Blackwing cards. I would give him S.
Yeah,
yes,
so
S.
that's actually awesome. I was also thinking S, and I was ready to settle for A. I think for everything you just said, Kalute is broken. He never really feels like a brick. There's all kinds of plays you can always do with him. He functions well with the entire deck. And then just most importantly, with him never being a brick, like if he's in your hand, like he's also honest. Like, so there's stuff you can do with him in the field. There's stuff he can do in the graveyard. There's stuff he can do in your hand. And he can just, you're in a bad spot, you're losing, they attack you or whatever, you can Kalute, you're out of the bad spot. You can just randomly have game, attack double Kalute. Oh, I win. Like, he can just randomly give you game for no fucking reason. Like, I think he's pretty insane. I was super ready to put him in S, but I was ready to settle for A. But I think due to his versatility and all that stuff, like I thought you were gonna argue me down to A, and I was gonna be fine with that. But if you put him in S, like I'm putting him in S.
So I mean, Blizzard. I mean, this is an obvious answer. Blizzard is S once again.
Woo!
Blizzard is the card that holds Blackwings together. It's like the glue. Because actually, Blackwings don't really have much of a comeback factor outside of Blizzard, which is why he's an S, and Dark Arm Dragon, which everyone already knew before we even got to him that he's an S.
We'll just throw him out. We'll talk about him next.
We'll
talk about him next.
Yeah. So it's like Blizzard is one of the few cards that Blackwings have that can actually mount a comeback. Like, for example, if you draw like Icarus off the top, as broken as Icarus is, you need it to pair with something. But you can draw Dark Arm solo and win a game. You could draw Blizzard solo and like win a game. Make like that Arm Wing for piercing. Make Brio. I mean, you know, if you don't have any cards because you're top decking, Brio is still good as 23. Make Goyu Guardian. Like, Blizzard is literally just like, that's the card that you want to see. And it's so crazy to me, like how some lists only play 2 Blizzards. And I'm just like, this is the card that really allows you to do all your broken plays. And also, like, the fact that he's a 2-star tuner and he gets a card out the graveyard and does not negate their effect.
It's pretty broken.
That's so broken. You can just reuse Gale, which is at 1, again and again and again. The only thing that Konami did right when they made Blizzard is they said that this card cannot be special summoned. Because then you would go like Shura attack, and like if you needed to go into a level 6, then you would just get Blizzard out of the deck. And it would just be like so crazy. But yeah, Blizzard S.
Nice. Okay. And then Dark Arm. So
yeah, I'll handle that one.
Also S. Also S. So his name is Dad, right? And when he comes home, you sing Daddy's Home. And so anyway, let's talk about Sirocco.
All right.
But this guy's Dark Arm Dragon is broken. 3 Darks in the Grave. That's really easy to manipulate, especially when you have things like Vayu. You can just adjust that super easily. He hits the board, he wins the game. Most times, if Dad hits the board, like he's similar to Black Whirlwind. Like if Dad hits the board, like usually you end up winning like that turn. Like he just ends games. He just has such a turnaround factor. He's a comeback factor. He's a win more card. He does literally everything. He's one of the best cards ever printed. I mean, I guess that's not really true with current Yu-Gi-Oh, but he's one of the best cards printed in like Yu-Gi-Oh when it was a bit more tame.
When it was the actual game itself, just, you know. Anyway, so moving on to Sirocco. I mean, Sirocco, he's going right in A tier with Shura. Sirocco is great because his pump effect is very versatile. Because one, if you use it correctly, like with cards such as Deck Devi, you can actually make certain things miss timing. So like, let's say you have a Sirocco on board, only a Sirocco, right? You can go activate Sirocco effect, chain deck Devi, and then chains resolve backwards. Deck Devi resolves, it's chain link 2, and then Sirocco's effect will be chain link 1. And if your opponent has like a dupe block on the board, it misses timing, right? Because the dupes would destroy chain link 2. So it's like there's that kind of niche play that you can do, but also like even just raw pump, like getting your Bora up to 37, and Sirocco cannot be used as efficiently in Blackwings as it can Vayu Turbo, because in Vayu Turbo there's often situations where it's like there's double Sirocco, and double Sirocco pump is 6,000 by itself, and that's like so much damage. In Blackwings it's a little bit more harder to get like double Sirocco on the board, but like it does come up. And also in the mirror match, Sirocco is like king. And that's one of the reasons why I personally dislike the Blackwing mirror match, because all your monsters are viabilities. No matter what monster you summon on board, what Blackwing monster you summon on board, the opponent can just summon Sirocco, pump, and then like you can't counter it with Icarus attack because it's a one card just monster, right? So
yeah, it's fucked
Sirocco's
up.
very good. And then lastly, like it's 2,000. So the fact that it's 2,000 is good because you can search all your Blackwings with Black Whirlwind. So if you need a Shura, if you need a Gale, if you need a Kalut, no matter what you need, you can get it from Sirocco. So Sirocco, he's really good. The only problem with Sirocco really is just that like he's level 5, which means like there are going to be times where it's like he's just sitting in your hand and he's like kind of dead, and you're waiting for your opponent to commit a monster to the board.
Yeah.
But outside of that, like Sirocco is like amazing. The fact that he's 5 stars can play in his benefit, because 5 and 3 Gale makes Black Rose, and then like if you need to, you can go into like a kind of a niche armor master with like Blizzard. But anyway, Sirocco is like amazing. He's really, really good.
The thing about Sirocco too is that he also, once again, like you said with the pump, he can randomly win games over, like, let's say the opponent has a board and I don't know, let's say it's like a fucking absolute 0 with like 3,000 attack, right? Because there's like frogs on the board. If you end up getting like Sirocco Bora, you could like pump the Bora and then win, right? Like you attack over like a frog or some shit. Like, you can just ignore the fact that absolute 0's there. It's just super convenient, that pump effect, to help you win, like steal games that where your opponent might have a board that's really difficult to deal with. Also, yeah, you mentioned deck Devi, which we haven't talked about much yet, but the fact that he is like one of the main reasons why deck Devi's played in this deck, right? Like he's like, obviously you can use it with the synchro monsters, right? But in terms of like your main deck monsters, it's pretty much Sirocco that's getting deck Devi'd.
So Sirocco is just like, he's a very, very good card, and I think A is appropriate for him. He's amazing.
Cool. What about Big G?
I mean, Big G also easy S. He's such a problematic card. I mean, he's so good that like he's just played in random decks that have nothing to do with Blackwings.
Oh yeah, I mean he's just a tuner. He's just a god tier tuner. He's 3 stars, right? 3-star tuner. You summon him, and then the fact that he can just have attack and defense. He just picks a card. That card has half attack and defense. It makes it so easy to deal with things like Stardust Dragon. Like,
I was just about to say that. Yep.
Like Stardust Dragon with like whatever, like all of a sudden, Gale comes down, half your attack, he's 1250. You can beat him with anything. You just fucking run him over with whatever the hell you want. Gale is, he's insane. And he's a dark.
Imagine you have Stardust bottomless and you think you're safe. And then they go summon Gale, half attack.
That's the other thing, right? Gale's 1300. He is literally the perfect stat line to kill Stardust. Like, half Stardust attack, you're dead.
And the fact that he's not 14 is actually better, because now it works with Black Whirlwind. If his attack was 14, he'd actually be much worse, because you wouldn't be able to search him with Whirlwind. So it's like, his attack stat line is amazing. His effect is good. The fact that he's a 3-star tuner worked perfectly in not only his deck, but so many other decks. So it's like, he's just an easy ass. There's a reason why he's at 1. Like, that card is so good.
Yeah. And then earlier, I think you misspoke. Earlier you said Sirocco Gale is 7 stars, but it's 8 stars, right?
Oh, yeah, 8. Right? Yeah, 8.
Which is great, because earlier you said Black Rose, but 8 stars is even more dynamic. You can do whatever the fuck you want with 8 stars. You can summon whatever synchro you like. There's a lot of there's obviously Stardust, which is the guy we were just talking about. Thought Ruler, if you want to go in the Thought Ruler for some reason. Dark End's 8, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dark End.
Yeah. Now, the thing about Blackwings that I'm sure many people know by now, Blackwings can make level 8 synchros, but it's not the easiest way because Gale's at 1, and a lot of decks don't really play ways to recycle Gale. And yes, you have Blizzard, but like having a Sirocco on the board and then next turn summoning a Blizzard with a Gale in the graveyard is like quite rare.
Yeah.
So it's like it's difficult for them to do that. And then a lot of Blackwing decks, they only play 1 to 2 values. So even going like value effect with Sirocco to bring out an Armwing, which is level 6, and then summoning Blizzard, like it's also kind of rare.
Yeah.
So they can make level 8s, but it's not as easy as a deck like, let's say, Diva Hero, right?
Yeah.
As much trash as I give Diva Hero, I do think it's the best deck to make like level 8 synchros in the format. But yeah, so Blackwings, they have a little bit of a harder time making level 8s, but as you said, level 8 synchros are amazing. And going back to Gale is just
for pushing what Blackwings want to do. They want to beat. First of all, Blackwings often get called a beatdown deck, right? What's better for beatdown than having your attack? Like, I just have your attack stat, I get to like beat you down harder. That I think that's also goes for Kalut, right? Like Gale and Kalut really help the idea of like, I want to beat you down.
Right.
So Shura beats you down, gets more monsters. So Blackwings want to beat your face in, and so we're talking about how well these cards help us do that. Gores. Now this is sometimes a main deck card, sometimes a side deck card for Blackwings. Right. It's not always in the main deck. It's not. Sometimes it's not in the deck at all. It won't be in the main or side deck. How do you feel about? I'll tell you. I'll start off. Gores I feel like is tricky in Blackwings because Blackwings is a deck that sets more often than like some other sets more often than frogs, right? So sometimes you could have a dead Gores in your hand. Me and Frazier have talked about this a lot. I tend to really dislike when you have Gores and Solemn in the same deck because they really counteract each other. And if you see any one of these cards first, it makes it very difficult to play the other card, Gores and Solemn.
Right.
So Gores and Blackwings, I personally don't rate it very highly. It's obviously Gores is a great fucking card. Gores change the way people attack. Like you have to attack in a certain order, no matter what. Even if you don't think they have Gores in their deck, you have to attack in a certain order. Gores has like taught people that, right? He's so powerful. But that said, in Blackwings, I don't think he's the strong. If he goes off, he goes off. But I don't think he's like the strongest card in Blackwings.
It's funny because I actually agree with you 100%. I was not going to give him an S. I think as a standalone card in Edison format, Gores is S for sure, right? I don't think people would argue that. But we're talking about these cards in the confines of a Blackwing deck. Yeah. And I think that not only everything that you said is true with Blackwing setting more often than not than other decks, but also you need to think about your most powerful cards. Black Whirlwind, Royal Oppression, right? Solemn Judgment. These are Starlight Road. These are cards that are quite difficult to get rid of. Now, I have gone on the record saying that, like, in the case of Whirlwind, if you draw Whirlwind and Gores together, although they are conflicting, if you have Whirlwind up, you're probably already winning. So it's like not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's just like, you shouldn't be losing a game with Whirlwind. But nevertheless, because of everything that you just said and the fact that Blackwings do play a fair amount of like continuous spells or traps or cards that are just generally hard to get rid of, I would give him an A. Now, the builds that he excels in are the builds that play the draw traps, because those ones can catch you off guard. You'll have like Yada or Jar Greed set, and then they will attack you because they're going to think that the back row is like a bottomless or a prison, and then you'll draw a card, drop Gores, and then you'll be like, what? And because Gores isn't still like, I would say, a staple in Blackwings, it really can catch people off guard, and an untimely Gores can just be the death of you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, if you have Black Whirlwind up, you're already winning the game, right? But so if you have Whirlwind up and you're doing your game plan and then they clear your game plan, the fact you have Gores in your hand can be kind of nice because that can be like, oh, hey, I'm still here. Also, that could play into the fact that when you have things set up, if you have Whirlwind up and a set card, the opponent is thinking, oh, he doesn't have Gores, right? And then like they clear your board, they think they can attack, and then you Gores them, and they're like, oh, what the fuck?
Easy A.
We're going back to him. So Crow, this is almost always a side deck card. I don't think I've ever really seen a main deck Crow in Blackwings.
Yeah, maybe like if you want to tech for some random event. I think that Crow is a really good card, and the fact that it is a winged beast kind of helps it out because like worst comes to worst, you can like set it in Icarus attack, but like
that's true.
If you're setting a Crow for Icarus attack, you're probably down bad. You know what I mean? I see him more as a side deck card. And if you're
Yeah.
siding him for certain matches, the matches that you sided him for, he's likely going to be an A or an S. But I'm just thinking from the perspective of like main decking Crow and Blackwings.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that that's not it. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah,
like
yeah.
Blackwings, most of the matchups that you want to have Crow for, you can just have Oppression for instead, you know?
True.
And I think an
true.
Oppression is a much better main deck card than Crow. So it's like, as much as I hate to do it, I got to give Crow, I'll let you choose, but for me, it's between C and D.
We'll leave him in D for now. We'll leave him down there. We'll leave him down there in D. Fuck him. Fuck Crow. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. But you know, to all the viewers, once again, I think he's amazing for the matches that you side him in. But we're talking about from like a main deck perspective and
yeah. And then these three are like the side deck cards. Like these are mostly side deck monsters. Like I've seen once again, Gore's occasionally as a side deck monster, but other than that, these are all mostly main decks. These are all side deck monsters. I don't really feel like you ever see these guys.
I kind of put them all in the same tier because like Cyber Dragon, the problem with Cyber Dragon is like he is good in that he can bait out like Bottomless. That's great for him. But like aside from that, Blackwings need to summon Blackwings for their deck to have synergy. You can't Icarus attack a Cyber Dragon, and like you can't special summon a Bora with a Cyber Dragon on the board unless you already have another Blackwing. You know what I mean? So it's just like
I feel like Cyber Dragon's main job is just to fuck over a machine. That's his main job. His main job is to come out and like say fuck you to a machine.
And then like also if you're playing triple Sirocco and then a Cyber Dragon, that's like 4 cards that are like level 5 or higher. And like sometimes it's just you're waiting for your opponent to do something and he's just too like reactive instead of proactive. But in the matchups that you put him in, like you mentioned against like Machina decks, he's amazing. He just
blows them up.
Yeah.
That said,
so it's like
I'm gonna take the executive decision. I'm putting this guy at least a little bit higher than these two. I think he's so fucked up, right?
I mean, False Dino's amazing.
He fucked up.
Banned in Modern.
He's
emergency banned.
He did right a week ago or whatever, right? 2 weeks ago, however long ago it was.
Right.
I think Fossil Dyna can go up just a little bit higher than them. Once again, these are all side deck cards. Like Cairo said, for when you need them, they're fucking A or S tier or whatever, right? If you're siding them in. Makes it actually a little bit difficult to tier the side deck cards. Maybe I don't know. It's something to consider. But I do think Fossil Dyna is just, regardless of the setting we're talking, I think he's just simply a better card in like every scenario than these two. Obviously, once again, Cyber Dragon versus Machines is like a god card. You just blow them up and there's nothing they can do about it. But Dyna just locks down so much shit and just sets you up for, and then he can completely wipe a board. Somebody has a whole fucking synchro summoned board and they attack into your Dyna and they're mad. So I don't know. This guy
and I'll say this
dirty.
The thing about Dyna is there's often an argument for how many Dynas should I side? And obviously the answer is between 1 and 3. But I think the lower end is actually better because as broken as Dyna is, it just gets back to the problems that Blackwings has, which Blackwings need to normal summon Blackwings.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why Vayu excels with Falsa Dyna and Vayu can get away with playing multiple Falsa Dynas is because they special summon a little bit more. They're not as reliant on their normal summon. In Vayu, Falsa Dyna's coming with a friend. And that friend's name is Armwing. You know what I mean? But in Blackwings, it's like he's riding out by himself. You know, you have to have an established board first, and then you can normal summon the Dyna. So he's a little bit harder, and committing that normal summon is like a little difficult. But you know,
a good point,
when he's played at the right time, he's amazing.
That's a good point because there are some decks that end up becoming starved for normal summon. That's why you end up seeing like Ultimate Offering in some of these decks. So you know what? Let's put them back down. D for Dyna. Let's put them back down here. D for Dyna. Just in the context of Blackwing, because I think the normal summon argument is a good one, and Blackwings really want to normal summon Blackwings. So, with that being said, I think it's fine to actually bring them back down in the context of what we're talking about, and maybe we'll move them back up. We'll see. Card Trooper, I saw this was in Chai T's side deck, I think. Card Trooper.
In some hybrid builds, they tend to play like Card Trooper. Personally, I know this argument, we're like beating it to death, but like you want to normal summon Blackwings. Card Trooper is just not a Blackwing. You're not playing Vayu Turbo, I think Card Trooper is amazing in hybrid Blackwings because like in hybrid Blackwings, like you want your Vayus and your Sirokus in the graveyard, and that assists with that. And like Card Trooper is just a broken card. There's a reason why it's at 1. But like in a pure Blackwing deck, it ain't.
Yeah, I agree. I think he does more in like Vayu, right? Like in Vayu, he does everything you need him to do. But in regular Blackwings, he's just a good card. Allure of Darkness is S tier, right?
Yes. I mean,
Brain Control S tier.
Yeah, like look, these are the easy ones, right? Brain Con S. But I will say there was a Blackwing deck that won a fairly big tournament, and the list did not play Brain Control.
That seems so crazy to me.
Yep, he did not play Brain Control.
I need to see
think he was
his
on, like triple Upstart or something like that. But anyway, he didn't play Brain.
Oh, I don't have Upstart here. But I feel like Brain Control, you got it, man. I'm curious, if you don't play Brain Control in your deck, what is your reasoning, right? Because you have to have a reasoning. I feel like you have to come with this is why I don't play Brain Control, because it's bad in these situations. Because otherwise, I just feel like it wins games. It just wins games. I mean, I get, you can't tribute, right? You don't have Caius, but I don't know. It's fucking great.
You can just kill them.
You can just kill them. You just fucking kill them. The card's insane. Dark Eruption. This is a Cairo tech.
Yeah, actually, I was gonna say that is actually a card that I love. So I'm kind of biased to it, but I'm gonna try to take my biasy out of the equation and give an objective opinion. The reason why I personally play Dark Eruption is because look at the cards that are in S tier. Just look at it.
I'm looking.
And notice something about Dark Eruption. You can get all the cards that are in S tier back with Dark Eruption. Gale, Kalute, Blizzard. So I just think just like having the ability to have 2 Gales, multiple Kalutes, multiple Blizzards, and it's also graveyard manipulation and control for Dark Arm as well. So it's just like, I think the card is amazing. And it's versatile because like you're going to have Gale in your graveyard at some point. You're going to have those Blackwings in your graveyard at some point. You can pick and choose. What do I need for this situation? But at the same time, it can also be a brick because there might not be anything in your graveyard. Or you might have like Blizzard in your graveyard, but like you need something else, right? Because your Shora or your Bora got like bottomless or deprisoned, right? So of course it's not always the perfect card to draw every time, but I do think it's quite good. I can't justify a position because I have too much bias, so I'm gonna let you have it. But that's my.
I'm gonna say I think so. Obviously, it's not commonly played. You like this card. You were playing it the other week. I was there with you when you were playing it. You like this card. I think there's a very good argument with Gale, Kalute, Blizzard. There's also the fact that you play 2 to 3 Blizzards. You play 3 Kalutes and 1 Gale. So it has a lot of targets just off the rip. It has like 5 to 7 targets generally. I would say usually 6 to 7 targets that could be there and like pop off with it, like easy targets. So it has a very good likelihood of being live. However, there's ways it can be dead and things that you pointed out, and then also not a lot of people play it. Maybe they're sleeping. Maybe they should be playing it and they don't know. But I think for now, just because just because C is lonely, I want to throw it in C. And C's not bad. C's not. I want to throw it, but as we go on, maybe it deserves to be B. Who knows? But we'll put it in C for now, and we'll see what happens. I do think the argument with these 3 monsters right here, all being able to get back with Dark Eruption, they're all 3 monsters that you want to see back. Because if you Dark Eruption Gale, you could probably special summon Gale back out, or you could just normal summon them out, do whatever you do. Gale things. It's fucking Gale. But you're playing a Blackwing deck. There's a damn good chance you can just special summon Gale out, and then like because of Dark Eruption, you can end up getting game because you needed a second Gale. Gale's limited to 1.
Exactly.
You could get Kalute back. Yeah, go ahead.
That happens a lot as a Blackwing player. Is your Gale will be in the graveyard and you'll have a Shora Resolve and you'll look in your deck and be like, oh, I've already used my Gale.
Yeah.
Or you'll like summon a monster with Whirlwind on the board and you're like, I really need Gale to get out this situation. And it's like, you can't because it's in the graveyard. So it's just like, I really think the fact that you can get Gale back with Dark Eruption is so slept on. And it's not just Gale. It's Kalute. It's Blizzard. It's like, worst comes to worst, a Vayu if you need to allure. That's terrible, but like still. The point is, it's just like, I think it's really, really amazing. But
I think the Gale plays are really good. Kalute, like you have somehow the game's still going. You have 3 Kalutes in your graveyard. and then your opponent feels safe, and then like he's like, all right, he sets up a board, all right, he can't, blah blah blah, and then your turn, you go Dark Eruption, get Collude, attack game, and they're like, what the fuck? How'd that happen?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I could see that, and then also Blizzard plays. You know what? I'm gonna put Dark Eruption in B for better than you think.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
MST, just
Right.
MST.
I mean, MST and Heavy Storm, they go in the same tier. For Blackwings, which is S. And the reason why they both go into S is because, like we already explained, Blackwings, they lose when you stop their summons. And generally in Edison format, the way that you stop summons is through spells and traps. So Book of Moon, Bottomless, Torrential, etc. Right? There are very few monsters that can like negate a summon. So it's like, usually you're going to get your summons stopped by back rows. And MST Heavy, they clear back rows, which is one of the reasons why, like, I personally, like, I have so many techs, and whether they're good or not is always up for debate. But it's one of the reasons why I personally play Cold Wave as well, because it's like, I want my summon to go through. And if I go, like, if you have Bottomless set, and I go Cold Wave and I summon my Blackwing, that that Bottomless is now just dead.
Yep.
Because now I've already got my summon established. But anyway, as for the cards on the screen, MST Heavy, they are both S tier because like they ensure that your deck's weak point is covered.
Yeah. And then Book of Moon. Book of Moon is a card that I think occasionally in Blackwings at one point in time was like played 3 of, 2 of, 1 of,
That's right.
0. Book of Moon has had an up and down relationship with Blackwings. What are you thinking about with this card?
So the thing about Book of Moon is like, I think I mentioned in like my previous build where I got 3rd place, I was on triple Book of Moon. And like, actually, I believe the format before Edison, Book of Moon was limited to 1. And I think for Edison format, it got up to 3. Book of Moon is another card that's slept on because it has so much versatility. It can stop synchro plays because you can't synchro with face down monsters. It can also just guard against brain control. There are very few cards outside of like Solemn Judgment that are played in the meta that can stop a brain control. Plays around brain control. And also like in niche situations when you bring out your Vayu synchros, if you Book of Moon a Vayu synchro, it gets the effect back again.
True.
It pairs excellently with Shura because like Shura and Book is kind of like Shura Kalut.
Yeah, because usually their defense is lower than their attack. So if it's a monster that like you can't beat an attack, I mean, fuck. If they have Dad on the field, right? Let's just throw it all the way. If they have Dad on the field, you can summon Shura, book him, and attack over his 1,000 defense. You can also beat over all of the Monarchs. They all have 1,000 defense. So like Shura book allows you to beat over a lot of bigger monsters.
So like this is a true story that happened. So when I got 4th place at Sacramento with Blackwings, my 3rd and 4th place match, I was up against a really prominent Vayu Turbo player. And this Vayu Turbo player believed in main decking Book of Moons over D Prison. Now, I had game, so I go like, he has a Darken on the board, and I have Brain Control and Dad, right? So it seems like the game's over. So I go Special Summon Dark Arm, Prio popped the back row. And the reason why I popped the back rows is because like all the bottomlesses were gone. And then I'm like, if this Dark Arm takes out this back row, I can Brain Control the Dark End and attack with both for game. Okay? Yep. So I'm like, that back row should be a prison because bottomlesses are gone. And like, I've played the game enough to know that he didn't have Torrential set. So I summoned Dark Arm, Prio, hit the back row. And what was the back row? Book of Moon. So now my Dad is face down and I have Brain Control in my hand. And it's like, if I Brain Control the Dark End, it does nothing because it's not lethal. And I can't Dark End send itself because you have to send an opponent's monster. So anyway, I wound up losing that game, which was for the set. And it's all because of Book of Moon. So it's like, Book of Moon is so versatile. I do think it's like, also Blackwings, one of their kind of like problematic cards is Consecrated Light. Just book it.
Yeah, just book it.
And then, then you can summon all your guys. Like Christia, not that Blackwings have a hard time with Christia because they have so many outs, but just book it. Like, Book of Moon is so good. It's really slept on. It's not S. It's not S. Let's not like.
No, hold on, wait a second. We had this whole conversation, and no point was S considered. Just by the way, you saying it's not S is offensive. Nobody thought it was going at S.
Good. Okay, good. I would say it's like B plus. It's like it has an argument for B and A, but honestly, I'm comfortable with giving it in the A slot. I'm super comfortable with giving it in the A.
A? Interesting. A or B? A or B? It's interesting because I think you do run into a problem with bloat sometimes, right? I feel like Blackwings plays a lot of trap cards, and sometimes, like, is there room for Book of Moon in your 40-41 cards? It does have a lot of really good shit. We didn't even, like, we mentioned Shura, obviously. I feel like in the same vein, there's Bora. It's obviously nowhere near as good as Shura, but, like, you know, you could book something, attack over it with Bora, you still get piercing damage, which is cool. It helps beat a lot of monsters. It can help save you in... It's a really bad, like, attack stop, but it can be an attack stop. It stops synchro plays. It stops a lot of different stuff. So, everything you said is super valid. It's just one of those things where it's, like, sometimes it just, like, feels like, Book of Moon doesn't do enough in, like, weird situations.
It can be a worse
like,
B prison sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's why I said between B and A, because I really think it's hard to place it. And I think there is an argument, like, if someone wants to say B, it's kind of hard to disagree. But I also think if someone wants to say A, I can see that too. Because the thing is, it's like, for example, we're playing 3 Shoras. We're playing 3 Sirocos. If we could play 3 Gores, maybe, I don't know. But we're not playing 3 books. Like, these days, like, nobody's playing 3 books. But at the same time, counter argument, right? Devil's advocate, we're playing triple Bora and that card's at B. So it's just like...
Yeah.
There's so many factors, like, to consider. So whether someone says B or A, I can see both sides of the fence.
Let's try B for now and see how we feel when we look at everything. But there's something I wanted to talk about alongside Book of Moon. It was... Oh, okay. So you mentioned Book of Moon for Consecrated Light, which made me think of Fissure. And I feel like the main reason Fissure is played is because of that card.
I mean, as far as I know, I like saying I was the first one to do this. But anyway, not that it matters, right? But as far as I know, I was one of the first. I'm not going to say the first, but I was one of the first people who started siding Fissure and Blackwings. And, like, everyone's like, why is he siding Fissure? I'm like, because it kills Consecrated Light. And actually, Fissure is a really good just standalone card. Cards like Smash and Ground, Fissure, that just do clean 1-for-1 destruction, you're always going to get value out of those cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, I think they're just like great cards. But the problem with ranking Fissure is just like, as we said from the beginning, to stay consistent, we're talking about more from like a main deck perspective. And I think in the matches that you sided in, same with Crow, Cyber, Dyna, it's amazing. But like, would I main deck Fissure and Blackwings? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah. For that, I'm even more comfortable than Dyna. I'm happy, unless you wanted to put it even higher, I'm happy with it being in C, because I think, let's talk about Consecrated Light specifically. Consecrated Light turns like, you lose. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, it's just, I've seen a lot of games where somebody goes summon Consecrated Light, and then, like, nothing happens from there. The Blackwing player just might as well shuffle their deck and say, go next. The simple fact that it completely can get you out of that situation, I think it is super valid for it to at least go and see.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. On to Mind Control.
Mind Control.
Now, the thing is, Mind Control is an interesting card because we have Brain Control in S, and we didn't even have to talk about it. Mind Control, some people side it. It's often sided in combination with Raikou because Blackwings tend to have a bad matchup against Vayu Turbo. And you can go like Mind Control their hamster, and if you side in Raikou too, flip their hamster, get Raikou out of your deck, and then like you can like synchro off with the hamster that you took, and you net so much advantage that it's almost impossible to lose that game. But as for main deck, it's not like commonly seen.
No.
Once again, right, I mained it in my triple Book of Moon Blackwing deck that I got 3rd place at RBT with. And more recently, AJT, he main decked it in one of his Blackwing builds, and he did quite well as well. So it is seen play. It has seen play in more recent Blackwing lists. I mean, Mind Control is just a good card, and Blackwings play a lot of tuners. You're playing triple Blizzard, you're playing Gale, and then like if you negate Vayu's effect, that's 1 to 2 more tuners, right? So Blackwings do have a fair amount of tuners, and I do think Mind Control is just a good card and should see more play. But for whatever reason, it's not seeing that much play, and I guess because there's just better cards. I'm putting it in B tier. It's like a solid B for me.
Okay. I think Mind Control is one of those cards where it's really good, and when it works, and it can do it can just like win you the game. It can do something big. You can get a crazy synchro off it. I also feel like it's a card that sometimes is just like does nothing. You look at it and you're like, there are plays with this, but it doesn't do anything. And I feel like it comes up more often than not where like you have mind control and it's like, oh, this card doesn't do anything right now. Like I can't do anything with mind control. Like I'm not set up, like especially if you're behind. Sometimes it's like it's kind of like I don't know, like it's hard to like come back with it. It's just weird. Like it doesn't just straight up turn everything around the way brain control does. It is nice that it can take a face down monster, but there's just really awkward situations where I feel like and then also we did a duel one time where somebody tried to do a mind control play on us, I think, and they tunnel visioned into like a really bad play. I think mind control tunnel visions players as well. So I think people see mind control and they like want to do cool things with mind control, and they end up doing suboptimal plays because they want to do a mind control play. So I kind of want to put it at the top of C.
Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. All right.
Soul Release, I think is a D. But continue.
No, I mean, really, there's not much to say about Soul Release. Frazier hates that card. He thinks that it's not a good card. I think like the best part about Soul Release is when you play it and the opponent doesn't expect it. Because if the opponent knows you're on Soul Release, they're just going to play around it. But more times than not, because it's not like a popular card in the meta, people don't play around it, and then you catch them off guard. You hit both their Treeborns, or you remove all their waters, or heroes, or you get all their names for JD. Like Soul Release is a great card when it works. But as for main decking, I'm never going to main deck it in Blackwings.
No,
never.
I also just think it's one of those cards where like sometimes it's really hard to see the value of it. It's also a card that can brick. Like you could open up, turn 1, turn 2, or like even as early as turn 3, and if you see Soul Release in those opening hands, you're just kind of mad because it doesn't do anything during any of those turns. And then against some decks, by the time it can do something, you're already dead, right? Like, you'll just be dead by the time you get a chance to really get Soul Release to go off. So it can just be a frustrating card where you just see it in your hand, it doesn't do anything, and you're like, oh my fucking god, if this was just something else, I'd be able to play the game. Nobleman.
Yeah, I mean, Knock, like, I'll say this, right? I think it deserves C only because Blackwings actually have a hard time dealing with set monsters. Because the only way that they can really deal with a set monster, like, let's say they have Hamster or Raikou set, is with Icarus Attack. And usually, like, powerhouse, like, manhandle face-down monsters, so they might go, like, Sirocco, Special Summon Bora, attack, pump attack. And that's good because you get a lot of damage. But then if you hit a hamster, then that hamster is going to get Raikou, and Raikou's going to, mess up your board. Or like if it's just Raikou, then Raikou's going to get rid of one of the, cards. And like this is assuming that you have Sirocco and Bora. And a lot of times you don't, right?
Yeah.
If you just have like just a Bora or just a Shora or just any Blackwing, Raikou hamster completely gives Blackwings a hard time. So Knock is good because like Blackwings have a harder time dealing with face down monsters than you would think. But it's not like main deck.
And it's interesting because like Blackwings want to attack monsters, right? Especially Shura, right? Like you want to attack monsters. So it is weird because I think there's another thing with Knock is on one end it helps you continue your gameplay and helps you deal with things like Raikou and Hamster. But then at the same time, I do feel like it's counterintuitive to the fact that like if you have Shura, you probably want to attack the monster with the Shura, even though that could end up being disastrous. So yeah, I can see that. I like C. My body.
Now this is an interesting one, okay? Because this is, some people consider it a side deck card, but it could be a main deck card because think about it. As we've said multiple times already, the problem that Blackwings has are cards that stop their summon. And cards that stop their summon typically also destroy.
Yep.
So Bottomless, it destroys first, so you can actually go my body. Trencho, it destroys my body. Trap Hole, it destroys my body. So you see kind of like the theme, right? Cards that stop the summon, with the exception of like Solemn Judgment, right? They destroy first. So even like, though this doesn't stop the summon like a Mirror Force, you just my body that. Because Blackwings, they tend to want to spam the field with monsters. So my body is actually, some people replace MST with my body. Some people do that. And there's an argument for it because like MST, you're playing this guessing game. But my body, you can just play freely, right?
Yeah.
So my body, I personally don't like it because it's a big cost. 1,500 life points is like quite a lot. But I mean, you can also argue at the same time, 1,500 to ensure your plays goes through is worth it. So I mean, like if I had to choose a place, I would give it a B because it does stop all the problems. But like that 1,500, man, that's kind of
it's rough. I was thinking B or C. I'll let you give the final verdict on it, but I was thinking B or C. I think you gave all of the pros really well. I also think that there's situations where my body comes up where it's like not as good as you would think. There's also some cards that it doesn't work on. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. There's some situations where you would think my body works that it doesn't, and I can't remember what those are. And then the 1,500 life, like you said, it saves your monster, but then at the same time, it gets you closer to like dying yourself. And the decks in Edison format have gotten so strong where they can kill you. That extra 1,500 can just really help them finish the job. I like B or C. What do you think?
Hey, I'll let you choose. You're my partner in crime.
All right, well,
we'll go top of C.
We'll go B for body. You said B. We'll go B for body. All right, now we're on to trap cards. So 7 tools.
Yes. Now 7 tools has become a main deck. I don't want to say staple, but more Blackwing players are beginning to main deck 7 tools, and I understand why. Because once again, when you think about the cards that stop summons, typically they're trap cards. Not to mention, it's just like a card that people often counter Blackwings with is Starlight Road, and you can just go 7 tools. And then even Solemn Judgment, imagine someone playing half their life points to stop your summon or to stop a Dark Arm. Yeah, and then you just pay 1,000 and stop them. So 7 tools is like really good. I think it's another card that's kind of like underrated. And even like, I remember it's not played in Edison format because it's not out yet. But like in later formats, there's a card called Wiretap. And pretty much what Wiretap says is like, when your opponent activates a trap card, negate it and shuffle it back into the deck. So, and that card, when it came out, everybody was playing Wiretap. Because it would just negate trap cards for free. And 7 tools pretty much does the same thing, except for, I mean, it destroys it and you pay 1,000. So just negating traps is really, really powerful. I mean, look at the cards that you have below, right? Stopping Trap Dust Shoot, stopping Deck Devi, stopping cards that stop your summon. I mean, like, stopping a Solemn Judgment, as we just discussed. Like, the card is so good.
Yeah.
However, right, it doesn't help you if you're losing. You know what I mean?
7 tools is crazy because I think everything you said is it stops so many strong cards, especially things like Solemn, Trap Dust Shoot, any of the summon stops, Mirror Force, stopping Starlight Road. Like if you go Icarus Attack, they go Starlight Road, you go 7 tools. So 7 tools is really fucking strong. I do think it could still. So it's a bad if you're losing and you're top decking. It's the worst card in the world to draw. It's horrible. But if you're in a losing situation but not strictly top decking, it can be good. Like maybe you have a card in your hand and like you're reading they have bottomless and like you can't get it out. So like setting 7 tools will help you like get your game plan going next turn or whatever. It is still rough to play in losing, but I feel like it can help make a losing game plan like fight back from it. Right. The other thing is one of the most popular decks, one of the strongest decks is Frogs, which typically doesn't play a lot of traps to begin with. And so I think that's a reason why 7 tools might see itself as a side deck card more. Because if you end up main decking 7 tools and then you fight against a Frog deck, it kinds up being dead even more often than it would in some other situations. So I think that's a reason why 7 tools might see itself as a side deck card, because the big 3 get talked about, Vayu, Frogs, and Blackwings, and one of those big 3 is Frogs. And what's funny is outside of Frogs, a lot of decks play traps. Vayu plays traps, Blackwings play traps, Gladiator Beast play traps, Hero Beat, although that's not played as much anymore, but that obviously plays traps. There's a ton of really strong trap decks out there that 7 tools can be super strong against. But I think the simple fact that Frogs exist, and they're one of, if not the best deck in the format, and they play an extremely low trap count, relegates it to a side deck card almost, and then which lowers its value a bit in addition to like some of the things you said.
I mean, for me, I think it's B because it helps the deck out so much. But yeah,
I'm good with that. I'm good with B.
All right. Dark Illusion. Now, actually, this card received popularity I believe from Dimitri, okay? And please excuse me if I get my Yu-Gi-Oh lore wrong. But anyway, this card received popularity from Dimitri. As far as I know, he was the first person to main deck it in Blackwings. And it's pretty good because like you can stop cards that target dark monsters. So what cards are those? Book of Moon, Brain Control, Icarus Attack, Akaius, right? Any Monarch really. So the card is like actually quite good.
Yeah, it's basically Chariot, right? Isn't it like Chariot?
Yeah, it's basically Chariot.
It's basically Chariot for dark monsters.
And like the thing about cards like Seven Tools and Dark Illusion is when those cards are set, they're actually quite difficult to read because like generally when like you're checking for cards like back rows, you're checking for cards that stop summons or attacks. And Seven Tools and Dark Illusion, they don't do either of those. So it's like it's kind of hard to read them and you might think, oh, it's a Solemn Judgment or oh, it's a Starlight Road. And then,
or it's bullshit. Oh, it's bullshit. Like it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Or they set a spell or something like that, right? And then like you just get suddenly surprised that it's Dark Illusion. So I do think that the card's quite good when it goes off, but you know, it's not a card that I've personally played with before in the past. I've seen other people achieve like great success with it. So just going off of what I know it can do, yeah, I'm thinking between C and B.
Okay, we'll go see. Big Bottomless.
Yeah, Bottomless, it's like one of those double-edged swords because like the nickname that we give Bottomless in the house, we say bottom ass because the card is so good, but it's so bad at the same time. Like when you're up against like experienced players, they rarely fall for a Bottomless because they can just play around it. They'll keep summoning the little guys until like your life points are so low. Or like they'll summon a bigger guy, but like the bigger guy is like a Caius or something, and then like you kind of go -1. It's just like or like a Stratos, you know what I mean? So it's just like the card is so good, but at the same time, it's just so bad. It's kind of like, I don't know, double-edged sword really. But you need it in Blackwings because what makes Blackwing strong are their traps. The fact that like you never know what trap card a Blackwing player has set. Do they have Bottomless? Do they have Prison? Do they have a draw trap? Do they have a Seven Tools? Do they have a Dark Illusion? There's too many cards to guess from. Whereas in other decks, it's quite easy to know their trap lineup, right? Frogs, it's going to be like a discard trap or like Mirror Force Torrential. It's quite simple, right? But I'm just Frogs, like, you know, even GBs. GBs is another deck that plays like a lot of different traps, but they play a lot of traps in like threes. So it's kind of easier to even guess what traps that they have. Whereas like in Blackwings, you don't know. No. So for that mix-up factor, Bottomless gets its bonuses and the fact that it is generally a good card when it's played right. Yeah, and you also need it for the mirror match. I'm giving B. I can't give higher than B for Bottomless.
B for Bottomless. And then let's talk about these two cards together. And I think no matter where we tier them, this is Legacy of Yada and Jar of Greed. Wherever we tier them, Jar of Greed's going to go a whole tier lower.
So a little bit more Blackwing lore history for you guys. Ludo, he's actually the person who started playing the draw traps in Blackwings. And I think that draw traps in Blackwings are very good. I personally don't play them because my logic is I just would prefer to have a real trap. But the reason why the draw traps are so good is because it goes back into just what we were discussing, the mix-up factor. And not only does it make your opponent play scared because they don't know if that back row is an Icarus attack, which will prevent you from putting more than 2 cards on the board, more than 1 card on the board actually, right? They don't know if it's an Icarus attack. It's just too difficult to guess. But also it allows you to draw into your power cards, allows you to draw into the Whirlwind, the Dark Arm, the Brain Control, etc. And it is a godsend against certain matchups. Like against Vayu, flip, Raikou, hit the back row, chain Yada, chain Jar. Against Blackwings, they'll go Ixer attack, destroy both your back rows, chain Yada, chain Jar. Set your 2 or 3 cards, your opponent goes Heavy Storm, chain Yada, chain Jar.
Heavy Storm's the craziest one, right? Like Heavy Storm, like if you go Heavy Storm and I fucking draw 2 cards off of that, like you are fucking sick. You are sick.
And you know Blackwings play a lot of traps, so it's just like now you wasted your heavy and now you need your heavy and it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like actually like the draw traps are really, 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 really good. I honestly think like they're A tier. Though I don't use them, like I gotta put some respect on their name. Like they're A tier.
All right. Well, Jar Greed goes a tier lower. Jar Greed's not played as often as Legacy of Yada. People play Legacy of Yada more. It has an effect that'll never get used, but it does have that effect. I guess if they have like Dark Dust Spirit on the field or something, I don't fucking know. Most of the time you see 3 up, they're the same fucking card, but for fun, Jar's going lower. Fuck that card. The other thing I want to say though, the thing that does suck about these cards, I'm fine with them being A, B, whatever. The thing that sucks about them is I do think once again they are cards that if you are in a mediocre to losing position, they do really suck to draw. But I think it goes to your point where you said I'd rather just play a real trap card than Legacy or Jar. Because if you're in a situation where you need a real card and you draw Jar of Greed, it's like, sure, Jar of Greed thins your deck, makes your deck smaller, whatever. But like right now, I don't fucking need Jar. I don't need a card tomorrow. I need a card right now.
And also, the worst thing is when you go activate Yada, activate Jar, and then you draw into another Yada or draw into another Jar.
Yeah.
It's just like, really? And, you know, for the fans of mine who have been supporting while I've been on IMNerd, I'm very thankful. And who are wondering, when are you going to upload a video on your own channel? Listen, guys, I'm actually working on a video that talks about draw traps in depth.
Ooh.
When will it get uploaded? Eventually.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I know
Return,
you love this card.
I love it. I think Return is broken. When I was playing Return in Diva Hero, everybody was saying it's a win more card, and now look how far it's come.
Look how far it's come. Look at it.
But sadly, in Blackwings, it's D tier. And I can say this because sadly.
Holy
I can say
shit.
this because I actually played Return in Blackwings. It was actually when I played Blackwings at YCS Las Vegas. One of 2 YCSs where I didn't get top 8. The other one being Providence. But anyway, I was main decking Blackwings, hybrid Blackwings with Return. And even in that, like, now granted, my build was not as efficient as the more modern hybrid Blackwing decks because like I wasn't playing like a lot of the value cards to make it better. I was just strictly just playing Greffer and like Return, right? And my logic was like, I'll banish cards with Value Sirocco, and then like also Blackwings naturally get banished because they get bottomless in prison. And like I wound up like siding out Return a lot, and it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I think in pure Blackwings, it's just not good. But in hybrid Blackwings, it is very good. And in Value Turbo, it's cracked double S tier.
Yeah. So in general, it's an S tier card. Value Turbo, for example, double S. And you think in pure Blackwings, it's D tier. It's trash.
Yeah.
Well, we're leaving it there. It's in D tier. If you disagree, let us know and yell at him. Don't yell at me. Right. Yell at him. It's his fault.
D for Dimension.
Mirror Force. This card's got to be A, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mirror Force is an amazing card. I will say this. Blackwings don't need Mirror Force because they have Kalut. But Mirror Force does make their job easier. And like, it's just a solid card. Like, to put Mirror Force lower than A in almost any type of tier list, it's a hard argument because that card is just amazing. So Mirror Force, it's A. Like, yeah, it's
so
A.
in the same conversation. You're good.
Yeah, I was about to say you can even argue S because Mirror Force it's just that card. Mirror Force literally is just that card. I mean, I know someone who had a JD on the board.
I know that person too. He got fucking Mirror Forced for 5 with a JD on board. I don't know how that's possible, but he did it. He's the best. I'm gonna say Mirror Force A. I think you can argue S, but just the fact that it is reactionary, it can be played around, etc. It's super good. I'll put it A though. But in the same vein, let's talk D Prison.
Oh, good. Because I had some words for torrential, but yeah, let's talk about D Prison. D Prison, it's great. I mean, I just would put it in the same tier as Mirror Force. There's really not much else to say about D Prison. It's a solid card, removes things. Generally, you put in D Prisons for decks that have a hard time removing cards from the field. But the strengths about Blackwings is they don't have that problem because they have so much versatility with their destruction. Like, sometimes a Stardust can be like tricky, but only sometimes because you have Kalut and Gale. You know what I mean? So it's just like Blackwings really don't have a problem with removing cards from the field. But yeah, D Prison is a great card. You can get away with playing 1, 2, or 3 in Blackwings, and
it feels good no matter which number count you do it with. Yeah, it's really good. You want to talk about Torrential, so we'll throw that boy in here. You have some words.
Yeah, add some words. So Torrential, like, now I am a huge fan of Torrential. I've played Torrential in every variation of Blackwings that I've ever played, but I'm gonna have to sadly give it a B tier. And the reason why I'm giving it B tier and not anything higher is because as amazing as Torrential is, you can think of Blackwings as like a control deck, and control decks, they need board presence. So it's like, even, let's give another example, Six Samurais. Six Samurais, they really didn't play Torrential because like they need to have an established board, and Blackwings is the same way. You don't want to torrential your own cards. Now, standalone, S. Easy S. Easy S. But it's like, unless you open up like, I don't know, Value Torrential, you don't want to take down your own cards with Torrential. So I just think like the card's amazing. S tier trap in Edison format. But in Blackwings, like, I can't give it S or A.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Once again, these are tiering the value of the card in the context of the deck. Pulling the rug, I think this once again is just like a side deck card. But that said, Caius is really annoying, and he's the most popular card in the fucking format.
Yes, yeah. I don't have any words for that. I think you covered it fine.
Yeah. What do you think, C or D?
We could put it in D. Like, all right, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's a side deck card. Yeah, well, you know, moving on. Yep. Deck Devi.
And just for clarity, as we said many times before, those side deck cards, when you put them in the proper matchups, they're not in D tier. They are much higher. But like in terms of like main decking it, like no. Deck Devi. Now I have said this many times. So if you are a ATrueHero fan, or if you just heard through the grapevine, you already know. I was the first person to main deck Devi in Edison format.
He really wants his first person credit, okay? Bro, he wants first person credit for everything.
Bro, I'm taking this shit to the grave, bro. To the grave. Write it on my tombstone. And it's just like, it's so crazy. And I know this is off tangent, but I gotta bring it up. Go on Format Library. Whoever thinks I'm just capping, go on Format Library.
Oh, shit.
Check out the decks from like 2022. Look at all the Blackwing decks. Tell me how many of them were main decking Deck Devi. 0. And then look at ATrueHero. And where do you find it? In his main deck, bro. In his main deck. All right? Go and check Format Library if you think I'm capping. All right?
It's a great card.
But
is it S?
Anyway, no, it's not S. In Blackwings. And the only reason why it's not S in Blackwings is because it's actually quite difficult to pull off. And you actually already explained this earlier, but like aside from Sirocco, there's no easy way to deck Devi your monsters. Yeah. And like any other combination, unless you have like Blizzard, you have to expend more than one card. Yep. So like you'll have to go like Shora Gale, or like you'll have to go like Bora Kalut, or some combination like that, right? So it's like actually kind of difficult to pull off deck Devi and Blackwings. But like we've been talking about the Blackwing value comparison a lot. In Value Turbo, it's like, it's sweet, bro. It's sweet like cake. It's so easy to resolve deck Devi and Value Turbo, which is why they main deck 2 of them. But think about it. How many Blackwing decks have you seen that can main deck double deck Devi?
Not
like
a lot.
0.
Yep.
Yeah, like 0. And like even main decking 1, like I do think it should be at 1 because Blackwings is a dark deck. They have a lot of dark monsters. They can get to over 2,000. But like sometimes you're just going to find like it's a little bit difficult to resolve this card. And let's say my opening 6 is like Bora Gale deck Devi and like 2 traps and like a spell. I don't want to go summon Bora, special summon Gale, make Armor Master, set deck Devi, go. That's a 3-card commitment.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And
Gale, that's terrible.
And Gale's one of your best cards.
Yeah.
So
you don't do that. You don't do that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just like the only time I would consider doing that is if I open up Whirlwind, because then I can get my pluses back over time. Like if I go Whirlwind, normal Bora, add Gale.
Even then, special, that's a rough way to lose your Gale. Like even then, it's
exactly.
That's a rough way to lose unless you're playing Dark Eruption. But but no, that's a rough way to lose your Gale. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. And once like earlier, I mentioned one of the pros of Sirocco is that he's your deck Devi target, and he's kind of your only one for the most part. But deck Devi's super strong. You get to see your opponent's hand for multiple turns. You get to blow cards up out of their hand. So it's a super strong card, but it is a bit more difficult to see resolve in this deck than it is in its brother deck. So what are we thinking?
Yeah, I think A is perfect. A is perfect.
All right. Light Imprisoning Mirror. Once again, a side deck card, but I think it's a card I think it merits a little bit of conversation because, like,
Yeah. So this is the thing. Even though a lot of these side deck cards are going in C and D tier, at least we're explaining their value that they can be used even outside of the main deck, right? Their value that they can be
yeah.
used.
If
in
you
the
guys
context
think
of
we
how
should
they're
tier
being
the
decided.
side deck cards a bit differently, let us know. This is our first time doing this. It's kind of difficult. Maybe we won't even really include the side deck cards in the future. I'm not really sure. They're not really the identity of the deck. Side deck cards are just like, they counter other people's decks. They don't necessarily mesh with the identity of a deck all that well. So,
But as for Light Mirror, I do think it's a great side deck card for Blackwings because Blackwings tend to struggle against light-based decks. What are light-based decks? Those are decks like Christiasworn, Lightsworn, Fairies. And actually, the reason why they struggle is because all the light-based decks, they tend to side in Consecrated Light. Now, the thing that you have to know about Light Mirror is it does not negate continuous effects. And Consecrated Light is a continuous effect. So even if you have Light Mirror up and the opponent has Consecrated Light, you still cannot summon your Blackwings, which is a little unfair. But that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! And rulings.
yep.
However, it is good in that it stops like a lot of problem cards that Blackwings struggle with. It doesn't stop Consecrated Light per se, but it'll stop the other light monsters in the deck. It'll stop the Lightsworns from milling. You'll be able to kill their recruiters without them being able to get a card out the deck. So Light Mirror is really good. I think that it's pretty much a staple in Blackwings for their side deck. But as for main deck, if you're going around trying to be meta,
No. You would never put this in your main deck. But in terms of side deck, like you said, I do think, once again, most side deck cards don't fit the identity of a deck. They're just there to deal with other decks. But I do think Light Mirror in particular is kind of part of the identity of Blackwings in being in the side deck. Not a main deck identity, but it is part of its identity in the side deck. It just being an all dark deck and what it does. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with D.
D.
Icarus. Now, the rest of these traps, these are all traps that are seen in the main deck. Icarus attack, without a doubt, S. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first S rank trap in Blackwings. And honestly, like, it really doesn't need any explanation. Icarus attack is the reason why Blackwings are as scary as they are. Like, think about Blackwings without Icarus attack. You're just going to overpower them. The reason why you play conservatively against Blackwings is because you know at any point in time, they can trade 2 of their useless cards for 2 of your good cards.
Yeah, it feels so bad destroying a Blackwing monster because it's like every time you do it, you go, am I about to get Icarus? Like, you have to play around it. You have to keep your board in a way where if you're like using some kind of removal on a Blackwing monster, it's like, oh my god, like, you have to always be thinking about Icarus. You have to have your board set up in a way so you don't get blown up by Icarus. It's a fucked up card. Yes.
And like, you know, you were just talking about removal. Imagine you go brain control on a Blackwing and then they go Icarus attack.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Sad. You feel sad.
And then it's just, the card is easy as. There's not much else to say about that. Starlight Road. Now, these days, more Blackwing players have begun to main deck Starlight Road. The thing about Starlight Road is it allows you to play more aggressively, or, you know, like an ape. But the problem with Starlight Road is I think it's better against lower ranked duelists because they tend to fall into it more. Generally, better players are really, really good at reading Starlight Road, and they often don't fall for it. Now, of course, sometimes you'll back your opponent into a corner and put them in a situation where, like, they don't have a choice and they have to play into the Starlight Road. And, like, if you got it, you got it. But I'm saying from experience that, like, against a very good duelist, they'll do things like they'll make Geyserius to only target one back row. Or, like, if you're up against the mirror match, they'll, like, go target one of my cards, target one of your cards. And then the card that they target might be a chainable card, like Dust Tornado that's coming up next, right? So they still got rid of 2 of your cards while playing around Starlight Road. So the card is good. It's very, very good. And, like, when you can protect your Whirlwind, which is your S tier card, like, it feels good because they can't just heavy storm it, right? So it limits the ways your opponent can destroy one of your best cards. However, like, it is very easy to read. And people make it easy to read because this is what happens. When
They'll go
the average
set
person,
4.
yes,
They'll just go
exactly.
set 4
The
randomly.
average person, yes. The average person, when they open up Starlight Road, they're just going to set everything. Now, I'm not saying like this is a bad thing to do, but the thing that people don't consider is like, what happens when your Starlight Road gets sniped?
Yeah.
Then they're going to play their massive board wipe, which is usually Heavy Storm, and they're going to be like, oh, you'll never believe, they sacked me, they went Ryko, and they got lucky, and they hit the road, and then they went Heavy Storm. It's like, well, you set yourself in that way. Like, Starlight Road is not the card that's going to 100% ensure that like you can set everything. Of course you can feel more safe, but like think about it. Even when you have a Stardust and you set multiple back rows, what are you scared of? Your opponent going like Brain Control, Heavy Storm, or your opponent going like Caius and then a board wipe. So it's like having Starlight Road does not ensure 100% that you're safe.
It helps. It helps build up your wall, but it does not ensure it. Also, similar to some other cards we talked about, it is really bad when you need a card to like play the game today. When you need a card, like if you're in the mid game and like you need to play the game today, and you draw Starlight Road, you're like, okay, and you lose.
Right. So I mean, Starlight Road, I think it's an amazing side deck card, more so than main deck. But these days, a lot of Blackwing players have been main decking it, and I believe Red Gadget is trying to push his like Red Gadget 40, which is pretty funny. But shout outs to Red Gadget. He's a really great, humble guy. I got a chance to meet him at Berlin. He was very kind. But anyway, in his Red Gadget 40, I believe he main decks Starlight Road. I personally put Starlight Road in B. I think it's a great card. I can't justify A, but it is a really good card.
Okay. Dust Tornado. I feel like this is very similar to MST.
Yeah. The only weakness of Dust Tornado is that it's a trap. That's literally the only weakness.
I think that's good enough to like at least put it down a whole tier to MST.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Dust Tornado does have a second effect, which can be useful from time to time. Like, you can make like Gear Town miss timing. Dust Tornado hit one of their cards if you're up against the mirror match, and then like set your second Dust Tornado, and then on your draw phase you could flip up like your other Dust Tornado, right? That way you played around Icarus Attack. So like there's some niche things that you can do, but like I know we keep bringing up Vayu Turbo, but it's better than Vayu Turbo because like Vayu Turbo you can do a really dirty play where it's like you go Dust Tornado their back row, set your return, then on your turn activate your return, and then like it's over. And the thing about Blackwings is Blackwings don't have any traps that blow out the opponent, with the exception of Icarus Attack, right? But like Icarus Attack, you don't need to play it in that way. Icarus Attack, you just set it. You know what I mean? With a card like Return, you need to be careful in the way that resolves because you can't really chain it on your opponent's turn. It doesn't feel good activating a Return on your opponent's turn. Whereas Icarus, generally, you want to activate it on your opponent's turn. Because Blackwings don't have like a lot of like combo plays that they can really do like with Dust Tornado, and the fact that it's a trap and it takes a turn to get rid of the back rows, I agree, a tier lower, A.
Yeah.
Really good card though.
And then we can speed through these last three. We got Dust Shoot.
Dust Shoot, S. I mean, just standalone. It's so good that they even play it in Frogs. Like,
yeah, Dust Shoot's really good. Dust Shoot's really good. It tends to get sided out, if you're going second or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's broken. It's a fucked up card. It's super degenerate. It can ruin games. It can your opponent can just have a hand that's like, oh, he can just do some shit, and then you Dust Shoot them, and you make their hand unplayable, and then not only that, what their whole hand is for.
Yes.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. Which is important because like now I can summon here and my whirlwind summons will go through. Or now I know I need to play around this or that. But yeah.
And then we have the Ops.
The Ops, baby. Now the thing about Oppression is Oppression was originally seen in Blackwings and also Vayu Turbo. And Vayu Turbo is the best Oppression deck in the format, and they don't main it these days, but it's still really good. The reason why Oppression is good in Blackwings is because Blackwings is a control deck. Chora, Kalut, Oppression, how are you getting past that? Sirocco, Oppression, how are you getting past that? And then plus with their traps that are like just so devastating, like Oppression's really good. But the problem is Blackwings rely on special summoning more than you would think. When Blackwings are not in a winning position, they need to special summon, i.e. with Blizzard and Gale, Dark Arm. So they're power cards. They're most powerful plays you need to special summon. So it can be like kind of awkward when it's just like they got through your board and you need to special summon, and it's just like, oh, now this oppression is like kind of awkward.
Yep.
But like, because oppression is so good and it shuts down the vast majority of the meta, and for the most part, Blackwings can play quite well under oppression. A.
And then we have the big man himself, Solemn Judgment.
Solemn Judgment. All right, I'm happy that this is how we can conclude our little tier list. Solemn Judgment, easy S. And the reason why I say it's an easy S is because I actually am a person who prefers to not play Solemn Judgment these days, right? And the reason why is just because the cost is so costly, and I have...
It's a 4,000 burn spell.
Yeah, right.
That's the way I play a card, you Solemn me, I go, oh, I just played a 4,000 burn spell. How crazy is that?
Solemn, right?
Yeah.
It's solemn. Yeah. But I, in recent times, have kind of migrated over to Trap Stun, because a lot of times what you're solemning are traps, and hey, there's 7 tools as well. Anyway, so like a lot of times I've migrated over to Trap Stun over Solemn. But the reason why you need Solemn and Blackwings is because you need to protect your Dark Arm, to protect your Whirlwind, to protect your Blackwings, to protect everything. In my Value Turbo list, I don't main deck Solemn. But in my Blackwing list, every iteration of Blackwings, I'm main decking Solemn. In my older Diva Hero builds, I used to main deck Solemn, but like these days I don't. But like I'm always main decking Solemn and Blackwings. Like it's just, I don't even think about it. You need Solemn Judgment and Blackwings because you need to keep your Whirlwinds up. You need to keep like your board presence, and because look, I mean, just look at the tier list. Look how many S cards we have. And like Solemn just like...
That's something I want to talk about too. That's one of the reasons why, like this is a very top heavy tier list, right? There's most of the cards, right? The tier that has the most cards is S. And I think that makes sense for a top 3 deck. If we do this for 6 Samurais, it's going to look a lot different. There's not going to be that many cards in the S tier for 6 Samurais because of the overall power of the deck. I think how many cards are in S tier speaks to the power of the Blackwing deck, S and A. And then even the B tier cards, for the most part, are still really good. In terms of the ones that you see in every single deck, it's only Bora and Vayu, right? So it's Bora, Vayu, and then everything below this, for the most part, like Book of Moon, all the way through like D tier, these are cards that are not in every Blackwing build or are side deck cards. The rest of the cards that are like Vayu, Bora, and up are in almost every Blackwing build as a main deck card. And so that just goes to show like the 40 cards that Blackwing are using are fucking A and S tier cards, right? And that's what makes the deck so fucking powerful. Able to hit so hard and be so threatening throughout the entire game. And Solemn Judgment helps all of that, because Solemn Judgment either A, it stops your opponent from stopping your big game plan with Whirlwind and your crazy traps and all that other bullshit, or it just helps you push through for game. Like I have game, I'm going to push through, get it, I get Mirror Force Solemn, I win.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, you said it all. And I mean, that's why like Blackwings is one of the big 3. This was really fun. This was actually super fun.
I like this. But yeah, I mean, that's the video. That was awesome. We'll do more of these. We'll talk about other decks.
Let us know in the comments what deck you would like to see next. Would you like to see like Vayu? Is it too similar? Would you like to see Diva Hero? Would you like to hear me rant about Diva Hero? Do you want to...
I want to do Diva. I actually want to do Diva Hero now. No, I want to hear you rant about Diva Hero.
Oh man.
But yeah, let us know what you guys thought about this video. Let us know what you guys thought about the tier list, the placings. And remember, this isn't how good the card is in Edison format overall. It's how good is it in Blackwing? How good does the card further Blackwing's game plan, help Blackwing become one of the best decks and win tournaments? Yeah, what do you want to see us do next? What do you think about the tier list? What do you think about the video, etc.? Thank you. Happy Christmas. I don't fucking know.